Now before starting this video, I do want to say that this is just a fun little video. This is not to put hate to anybody or to put anybody down. That, you know, if you're still doing these things, I'm not judging you. This is about me, my life, and what I would never do again that I used to do before when I was younger. So with that all being said and cleared up, let's get into the video. This one is so embarrassing, but I never ever used to wear a winter coat when I was a teenager and in my early 20s. Never purchased a winter coat. I wanted to look cute all the time, and for those of you that are new here, I live in Massachusetts and it is very, very cold here. So you can just imagine on how cold I was and how many times I have gotten sick for not wearing the proper gear with being outside in the wintertime. It is so silly to think that in my 20s, or like when I was 16, 17 as well, I used to go to school and wear like those, how do you want to call those? Like a cropped little sweatshirts. Like I'll have a picture here. I remember Ciara used to wear them in her videos. It went viral back in the day before viral wasn't even a thing. I purchased those and that is what I wore until I was like 23 years old, out and about. And it was like the littlest sweater ever, and it was so thin, and I was freezing deep down inside, but I didn't want anyone to know because I wanted to look super cool. But in reality, I looked ridiculous and I was cold, and not to mention I used to get a lot of strep throat back then. I used to get colds, and I think a lot of that had to do with the way that I dressed and having my chest out and just not dressing appropriately for the winter season. Also, another cringy thing that I did with not wearing a winter jacket was I used to wear flip-flops in the winter time. No socks, just straight up flip-flops. Like, until this day, I see some people around here wearing flip-flops when it is freezing. Like when it's like 20, 19 degrees, I still see people wearing flip-flops. And I'm like, you go girl, because I cannot do that. Like, to me, I've been through that. My feet were cold. The minute I got home from school or from being out, I put socks on right away. And I was like, okay, I'm in the safe environment of my home. No one can see that I don't look cool anymore. Another thing that I did that was so silly and cringy was I used to blast my music constantly when I was younger. So at a red light, I would blast my music to the point where every car I had, I blew out all the speakers. I never had a system. I didn't have money for a system. Thank goodness. I swear being broke can save you from other like embarrassing things or just like wasting your money on things that you truly don't need. So blasting your music isn't the problem. But I would blast the music that I was listening to, which had a bunch of swears. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am an adult. I do love some songs that are not considered clean for society, but I will listen to that at a lower level. And the minute I get to a red light now, I don't know if it's with me being in my 30s, but the minute I get to a red light or a parking lot or near our house, like I just lower it down. Like no one needs to be annoyed by my music. And I don't know, I just was so ignorant back then that I wanted to look super cool. I wanted everyone to hear what I was listening to. And at the end of the day, no one cares what you are listening to. You're actually just disturbing people. So yeah, I was that person to be at a red light blasting the music. I wouldn't even be able to hear like if there was an ambulance behind me, which is so bad. So I'm glad I don't do that anymore. Like now I rarely play music in the car. Like I'll play like a podcast now. Don't get me wrong, I love music. I personally only listen to music here and there, not as much as I used to, maybe because I don't have much time, but I do like to listen to a lot of podcasts about like saving money or spooky stories. So when I am like out and about, best believe I'm not blasting whatever I'm listening to anymore. And also you have to be aware of your environment, especially as a woman. Be aware of your surroundings, okay? Blasting music, not paying attention, also being on your phone constantly. Like, be aware of your surroundings. This is a very cruel world, especially for us women. So you have to be careful. Someone can just snatch you from the back or just cause you harm without you paying attention. Wearing provocative clothing. Oh my god, you guys. So I don't have any pictures to show any of this, thank goodness, but I used to go clubbing a lot. I was clubbing my entire 20s. I stopped clubbing when I was like 25 and a half, maybe 26. I just got sick of the environment and I was just growing up. But when I was going clubbing, I'll have pictures of like celebrities. It's not me, but this is the stuff that I used to wear. And my biggest thing was I liked to show off my breasts. I've always had big tatas. Back then, that's what I liked to show off the most because I used to get a lot of unwanted attention. It's so silly because I thought that it was giving me the attention that I wanted, but really it was bringing creeps around. I used to wear a lot of low-cut shirts, little tiny shorts, little tiny skirts. I remember there was like even the bouncers and the cops at the clubs, like they were like old enough to be my father. And they were trying to get my number. And I swear, it's like the way you dress is the way you present yourself. If you're showing a lot, people are gonna get the wrong impression. Yeah, I wore a lot of provocative clothing, and just thinking about it is just so embarrassing, and that is not what I'm into these days. I'm into a more elevated look. Don't get me wrong, I do like some dresses that are a little tight and show my curves because I am still young. I am only in my, I'm only in my early 30s. I am still young, and I do like looking a little bit sexy, but it has to be formal, it has to be elegant and not showing too much. I will say that I do not like showing my breasts anymore. Like honestly, if someone gave me the opportunity to have surgery like a breast reduction, I would take it in a heartbeat because I'm so sick of having big breasts because my lower back is just in excruciating pain 24/7. Crazy how I used to love my big breasts back then, and now they're just causing me problems. Putting myself down in front of others. This is something that I struggled with for a long time. I used to call myself stupid in front of others. I used to just put myself down constantly back then. Even though I'm heavier now than I was 4 or 5 years ago, I don't hate myself. I don't tell myself, Carrie, you're so fat, you're ugly. Like, I don't do that anymore. And I used to do that in front of people, and I used to do it in the mirror to tell me, basically hating on myself, and I just don't do that anymore. I'm just very proud of how far I've come with my body. So even though I am a little bit uncomfortable with the weight that I'm at, I'm not putting myself down 24/7. I'm not starving myself like I used to. I'm still eating my regular meals, and I'm just a lot more better with giving my body a graceful time when it comes to losing weight and just feeling beautiful. And back then, that was not the case. I used to be like, I'm so stupid. I'm the stupid one out of all my sisters. Like, I was so proud to say that I was stupid. I would never, ever do that now. Like, I am proud that I am just as smart as my sisters. Like, I'm very smart and very intelligent. And for the longest time, I put myself down saying I wasn't because a lot of family members told me that I was the dumb one. And I'm talking about aunts, uncles. Like, a lot of family members told me that I was stupid because out of all of my cousins and my sisters, I was the only one in special education classes because I had a hard time learning back in the day. I stood back in first grade because I was reading backwards, and it just takes me a lot longer to learn what everybody else is learning, but I learn it eventually, and it doesn't necessarily mean I'm stupid. So yeah, I am so happy that I learned not to hate on myself and not to let others put labels on me. It feels nice to grow up from that negative mentality towards myself, because at the end of the day, if you're not best friends with yourself, if you don't love yourself, you will never be able to have that kind of relationship with anybody else. You come first. Even if you have kids, a husband, with that whole busy lifestyle, you do come first, and you have to appreciate who you are as a person. And that took me a long, long time to appreciate myself and to become my own best friend. So the minute I did that, I swear it was like the magic key to unlocking endless happiness within myself. Like, you can't buy happiness. There's something to be learned over time. I hope I'm making sense to you guys. It's hard to put this in words, especially if you still do this thing where you're putting yourself down constantly. I mean, I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. You definitely need to remember that. There's no such thing as a perfect life or a perfect house or body. You have to understand that being imperfect is perfect. So putting myself down is definitely a thing in the past. You will never see me talk down about myself. Whether I'm by myself or with others, I will never ever say, Kira, you're stupid. Kira, you're so fat. Kira, you're ugly. Like, no. Kira, I am proud of you for actually doing something and changing your life. Even if it was getting rid of the friends I had, switching my entire lifestyle around. I'm so proud of myself to make the switch, to putting me first instead of others. Drinking alcohol, even though I hated it. This is another thing that I used to do back when I was 21, 22. I would purchase drinks at the clubs, and I would purchase a Corona beer, but is that a beer? I don't know. I really don't know my drinks because I hate drinking. So I would purchase a Corona, or I'll purchase Sex on the Beach, something fruity every now and then as well. And I would just have that same drink in my hand for the entire night. So right when the club opened at 11, all the way till it closed at 3 a.m., I would have that same drink. And I personally drank that drink that I didn't like because I wanted to look cool. I think when it comes to doing something that you truly don't like I truly hate drinking, if I'm gonna have something that bad for my body, I want a piece of cake. I want a nice bowl of ice cream. Like, I do not want an alcohol beverage, wine, anything like that. I do not like it. It makes me super lightheaded. Even after one drink, I am buzzed. I used to get made fun of for that too back then with the friends that I had. People would always call me a lightweight and just tell me,
Carrie, that's why you need to build up your tolerance. You got to start drinking more so you can, not get buzzed sooner.
And back then I was like, oh, okay. And that just never was my thing. I hate throwing up. I've never been hungover. Thankfully, I knew my limit back then, and also being broke, you don't have the money to purchase more drinks. And also, huge thank you to my mother. I watched a lot of Lifetime movies, and I knew never to get a drink from somebody that's like, oh, you want me to go grab you a drink? Because they could just spike it and take you home without you even knowing. So I watched a lot of Lifetime movies growing up because my mom used to watch them, and I kind of knew, like, when you have a drink, keep it beside you. Don't let anybody tamper with it because bad things will happen. So I always had that in my head, and the people I hung out with, they would take free drinks from anybody and everybody. They would leave their drinks at the bar, and I was always like watching like a hawk, like, all right, who's gonna touch that drink? So I guess in my head, I always was smart when it came to drinking, but the one thing that wasn't smart was actually drinking alcohol that I didn't like. Drinking those drinks that I just wasn't a fan of, and I just had it in my hand to be with the crowd. Another silly thing that I used to do was talking too much, and this was the worst at jobs. I would tell my life story to people because I thought that they cared and they look interested in my story and me. And I was an open book when it came to random people. Till this day, I'm like, damn, I talked way too much at my old job. Everyone knew, like, all right, Kiara's moving, Kiara got an apartment, Kiara's, going back with her ex-boyfriend. It was just like, why? Kiara, you could have just been quiet, been this little mystery. You're there to work, you're there to make money, you're not there to make friends. I wish I would have known that back then, but you can't beat yourself up for it. Everything happens for a reason. There were some nice people that I met when it came to me talking too much and bonding, but there were a lot of enemies, and a lot of people, used with you talking too much, they use that as blackmail. These people should not know your finances. They shouldn't know your love life. They shouldn't know anything about you but you clocking in and clocking out and being helpful at work. So if I was to ever get a regular job, best believe I'll probably be like Wednesday. I'm gonna be completely mysterious. No one's gonna know anything about me. Even when it comes to my doctors and me going to like appointment, they ask you, oh, what do you do for work? Like casual talk. And I lie. Every time I lie. I say, well, I work, I'm self-employed. I'll either say I work for Google, which technically that's not a lie because Google owns YouTube. Or I'll say I work with my boyfriend doing real estate photography. I do not want anyone to know that I do YouTube because then that just gives them more leverage to judge. Even though my videos are very helpful and I do pour a little bit of my heart out to you guys. You guys have been with me for 5.5 years. I think you deserve that. But I don't show everything in my life for that sole purpose because, I don't know, like, I'm becoming a closed book. Like, I'm semi-open to you guys, but you don't know my whole life story, and I kind of want to keep it that way. So privacy is very, very important to me nowadays. So I don't talk a lot, even though I'm talking a lot in this video, but when it comes to having a conversation with others, I kind of let them do the talking, and I'll answer some questions that I feel comfortable answering, and if I don't, then I let people know because I am not here to please everybody. Like, if you are on this earth to please every single person, you are going to live the most miserable life ever. So this is not a silly thing. This is very cringy and disgusting. My boyfriend brought this up the other day and he was like, remember you used to do this? And I'm like, oh my God, please. Like, he's seen me go through all of my phases. He's got a lot of bad stories to tell our future children. And keep in mind, like, if you're new here, my boyfriend and I, we've known each other since we were teenagers. I was 16 when I met him. So yeah, we technically grew up together and now we're in our 30s. So it's pretty crazy to think like, damn, I went to prom with this guy, like he taught me how to drive, and he has seen me go through so many freaking phases, and he's never judged. He knew, like, you know, you're going through your thing, you gotta find yourself. Yeah, it's just crazy to think like that. But the nastiest thing that I did, not to get off topic, I used to spit my gum. Like, when I was done with it, I used to just out on the sidewalk in front of everybody, just throw it out of my mouth. Like, so embarrassing. And actually, like, I don't chew gum anymore. The main reason why I don't chew gum like as often as I used to, I kind of like switch gum out for mints. So if I need something to clear my palate, like if I had garlic bread or something like that, I'll just have a mint. I always keep mints in my car. The mints that I purchase are from Whole Foods. They're the best mints ever. I was gonna grab Altoids, but Altoids are not vegan. They have gelatin in them. So the mints from Whole Foods are vegan. So anyways, I use mints instead because they're a little bit more discreet. You're not constantly like, you know, chewing like a horse. And you don't have to spit them out. So if you're in a pinch, like, you know, like sometimes gum gets very gummy and out of flavor. It's like you're chewing on plastic, and if there's nowhere to spit it out, some people swallow it. That's my biggest fear. Like, I can't swallow gum. So I opted out for mint because it dissolves. So that's the reason why. And also they're a lot stronger than gum. So yeah, I used to spit my gum out in front of everybody. Very unclassy. I didn't grow up with a lot of manners, so it took me a long time to learn common manners. Wearing too much makeup. Even in the beginning of my videos, you guys seen me wearing a lot of makeup. Like, if you go back to my old videos, I was still wearing a lot of makeup because I just wasn't comfortable with my bare face like I am now. I used to wear foundation that didn't match. I used to wear loads and loads of like 4 different mascaras to make my eyelashes look like spider webs. I used to make my eyebrows look extremely dark because my hair was black back then. I know you guys, like, my hair looks dark today, but my hair is a light brown color. So I would try to make my eyebrows match my hair color back then, which was jet black. But I used to wear bronzer. I used to bronze like my entire body. I used to do smoky eyes every day, during the day, during night, during the afternoon. Kara was wearing a very dark, smoky eye with giant hoops. It's crazy how less is truly more for me and my look. I am very pale and I am embracing it, so I'm not wearing bronzer, I'm not wearing foundation. I'm actually taking the biggest break ever with makeup. The only thing I wear is lip balm because lip balm is 10 times better than lip gloss. Lip balm actually helps and nourishes your lips instead of making them sticky, and they're not doing anything for your lips like lip gloss. The only thing I wear is the Summer Fridays Vanilla Lip Balm. I don't wear anything else. I'm taking a huge break from makeup. I do own a simple mascara from e.l.f., but I'll only wear that if we're going out to eat to a nice restaurant. I'll put a little bit of mascara. And the funny thing is, what I've been doing when I wear mascara with going out, I will only put it like on the tips of my eyelashes and not like the whole entire thing. So it looks a little bit more natural and not spider webby. So yeah, every time you guys see me on camera, I'm wearing no makeup, and I'm happy that I finally have the confidence to do this. It's taken me my entire 20s to wear no makeup. Well, this is literally a no makeup look because all I do is brush my eyebrows with my little eyebrow brush, put some lip balm on, and call it a day. That's it. Another silly thing that I used to do was shop when being bored or feeling alone. I used to just shop to fill that void. And obviously I don't do that anymore because I am a minimalist. I am saving money, very tight budget these days. But now with me being in my 30s, I think I learned this like, I want to say like 27, 28, when I adapted the minimalist lifestyle. Going shopping, purchasing things that you didn't even have in mind creates clutter, creates, you know, you wasting money. So that all dawned on me, and I can't tell you how many stupid things that I had purchased because I was bored and lonely back then. So I would purchase, like, I would wear a bunch of rings, a bunch of thumb rings from Kohl's. And don't believe the jewelry that Kohl's has. Most of it rusted, even though it said sterling silver plated, blah, 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 blah. All of it rusted. It made my fingers really green. But of course, once when that happened, I went to go buy more. Like, I didn't learn my lesson. I bought bracelets, necklaces, earrings. I had over 100 pairs of earrings. Yeah, I had fake gauges because I went through like a rock stage for a little bit. So I had fake gauges. I had hoop earrings, small, large, tiny. I had a bunch of stud earrings like owls, elephants, and feathers, the feather earrings. Yeah, I was the girl at work for an entire year. Everyone was like, oh, what earrings are you wearing today? She's the one that wears all different earrings. But those purchases came out of me being bored and lonely. And the best thing to do when you are bored and lonely is to take a nap, relax, take that time to relax. Like, don't take it as like, oh, I'm bored or oh, I'm lonely. Take that time as like self-care. Go in the shower, take a nice bath, do a face mask, watch something, listen to music, draw. That's what I should have been doing instead of like going out there and spending money that I didn't have. That is something that I would never ever do again. The only time I spend money, well, lately, the only money that I've been spending is on that little guy back there. Whether it's for his food, the vet bills. I also spent some money on for his paw pads. Since it is the winter time, he's got dry paw pads. So I purchased some, like, I don't know what it's called. It's like a roller ball for cats, and it helps soothe their paws. So it's like lotion, like hand lotion for us. You know, you can use it for your cat and dog. So most of my money is going to him to keep him nice and healthy. I'm happy that my money is going to better use because that's something that he needs instead of me purchasing something that I don't need. And the last silliest thing that I have ever done is buying cheap tacky bras. Even though Victoria's Secret, you know, their bras are like $50 to $75, the wires come out within like 6 months. They fall apart, especially if you get those little lacy bras, they fall apart. They suck, okay? And not to mention the colors and the designs, it's just so tacky. Moral of the story, I finally have some nice classy, well-fitting bras, like when I'm laying down or if I'm just doing things around the house, my boobs are not popping out, like they're not spilling out like they used to when I had the Victoria's Secret bras or when I had the cheap Walmart bras. So they look very, very elegant. You can't see them under my shirt. The colors are very neutral tone, so they're not screaming out from under your shirt. I used to purchase hot pink, yellow, all the bras that Victoria's Secret had for like the semi-annual sale back then. I wasted a lot of money purchasing Victoria's Secret stuff, and it sucks because if you think of it, when you spend that kind of money on a bra or a shirt or whatever from them, you think that's going to be good quality, or it should be good quality with the prices that they have, and it's not. It's honestly the same quality as Walmart bras and Walmart stuff, and nothing wrong with Walmart, but Walmart matches the quality of clothing that they have. It matches their price. Victoria's Secret and places like that, like, they're just super overpriced for the crappy quality. So there might be some good bras there, but I steer away from places like that. So I'm never going back to cheap, tacky looking bras or like those lace bras where it's supposed to give you like a push-up. That's another thing, like push-up bras. When you are like big chested like me, push-up bras do absolutely no justice. Like, they'll bring your boobs all the way up. Even though it feels great for my back, I feel like all I see is my boobs, like all the way up. Like, I'd rather have them at a decent, I don't know, like, I don't know if you want to say length, or I just had a decent point on my body. I don't want them all the way up. I'm not wearing a corset or anything like that. I don't need my boobs like all the way up here. Anyways, I know I'm talking about boobs too much, but cheap tacky bras is something I will never ever waste my money on again. High quality bras is definitely the way to go. I will have the ones that I wear linked down below if you have a bigger chest. I also hand wash my bras in the sink, so every time I'm done wearing them, I'll hand wash them with my hand soap because it's a lot gentler than the laundry soap, and then I'll just hang them up to dry. and that's it. I don't put them in the dryer. So proper care for your bras is another thing that I feel like every woman should learn. So with that all being said, let me know down below, what is that one thing that you stopped doing because it was cringy and very silly.